Just loading.
Okay. Okay, so welcome back, everybody, and we welcome any of our public that's with us today. And we are on committee reports. 5.2, which is deleted, and 3 and 4 and 5, so 5.6, long range planning. Trustee Sirwa?
Yes. So on November the 24th, we had a discussion. We didn't have an actual meeting due to absenteeism, but we've now since resolved that. But we did discuss a few items. The first one being the FNMI representation to the board. Michelle sent out a video on October the 20th, and hopefully everybody had an opportunity to see that. So we need to discuss if we do in fact want to add the FNMI rep to our board. And do we want to discuss that now?
Any comments from anybody?
I think there's quite a
Trustee
bit.
Tugwood? Yeah.
Sorry, I think there's quite a bit to that discussion. We certainly can't make a motion, but I see it had being financial repercussions for one. The other thing, well, will they want to? And this is an appointment. And so there's lots of different parts to this. I don't,
Yeah.
What does everybody think? We can't decide today I don't think we can decide today to have an FNMI trustee, but.
Trustee Afon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe we did have this discussion and then put the matter on the back burner. Now that we've moved forward with our audit committee and it's on the roll, we've resolved one part of the requests from the new act. I will recommend maybe like I said, we've since resolved some of the issues on the long range. If we can put that on the burner, then come back in January once we are in the new year, and then take it from there. Because if we do, we have to have the perimeters, and coming October is our new year, then that will really align. Should we, as the board, appoint somebody for the role and a 2-year term, then that gives us again the time to make sure that we've consulted, we've gone into our communities, and find the appropriate fix or the right fix that would help our division. And then again, to be mindful of this morning's presentation from Chris, right? If we can look at it as a dual role as well, that would be very, very honorable, because it to serve as some of these purpose that we heard from this morning, to be a guide to our Aboriginal initiatives as well. So just bringing that to your attention, I recommend we do that in January and end it up quickly as we can.
Okay, so I would recommend to long range planning that to come up with a process, a really good process, that there's some research, there's good rationale. We know our school communities and their needs and the benefit of that position, and the benefit to our students. And again, you know, look at our mission and vision as well. I mean, this is a really important piece, and as well as our board goal under that, and the TRC's calls to reconciliation. I mean, that's a big part of what we're doing as well, right? Like we're trying to meet those calls. So I think there's a lot of work for that position, and we need to understand our students, how many students it would benefit, and what that position brings to our board as well, and all those things. There's a lot of thought and process for that. So I would ask, I would recommend to long range planning that you come up with a very good process to work through that.
And Madam Chair, one correction to that is it's not just our Aboriginal students.
Right, yeah.
This position was intended through the Truth and Reconciliation, so then we are embodied, very inclusive, and as an educational piece on the journey to understand our Aboriginal families and communities. So it's going to be a broader educational role to support us engage and do things very well. Okay.
Right, yeah, thank you, Henry. Yeah, it's about our whole student community, what that position brings to all our students. And again, that we were familiar with what our task is for that position and the importance of it, so.
Okay, thank you. We shall do that.
Okay, thank you.
Then we'll move on to our capital plans. We discussed that somewhat. We did discuss the condition of the schools, which I think Charlie will talk about later on. And then we'll move into the Catholic school in Beaumont. We discussed that, and we decided that there needs to be a lot of parent involvement and advocacy for this high school to take place. And Charlie has agreed to compose a letter, a form letter that we can give to the people at Beaumont, and they can sign it and send it in. And it was also suggested that we have a committee for the Beaumont High School, if we want to, in fact, form a committee.
Like at the school level or at the community level?
Well, first of all, some of the trustees are willing to be on the committee, and then we can go to the school.
I think it's a more of an advocacy committee, thinking of ideas and ways to advocate for this, not just with our MLAs, but also with the parents in the community and with
Right.
the community at large.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, we discussed with
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Yes, Trustee Afon?
Yeah. Pastor Sarah, before you move on, just like you said, I'm finding it difficult understanding what you're saying about forming a subcommittee.
It was a suggestion brought up that it might help for the parental advocacy for the high school. And if we started it, it might be advantageous.
So I'll just, I can just make a comment. So when we go back to Father Lacombe, advocacy was done under the Long Range Planning Committee. We didn't set up a separate committee, and it worked very well. And we engaged with the school council at that community.
Right.
So we have never done that, set up a separate community or committee for,
Well, that's
so
fine.
anyhow, that's just my feedback.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. We can continue on the long range planning with it. We don't need to do the committee. But at the last student council meeting, the parents and the people who were attending were very much interested in what they could do. They said, can we write letters? What can we do? So they're very much on board. So if we can, I think perhaps get the letter that Charlie agreed to compose, and we can bring it to the.
Okay, Charlie?
Oh, before Charlie.
Stefan, go ahead.
Yeah, Pastor, I was going to bring something to your attention. I didn't finish my comment before Trustee Lamar.
Oh, sorry, Trustee Afon.
On that similar thought, we've never gone that way when we are advocating for school. When we're looking for schools in Leduc, long range planning, and in that discussion and planning came to the board, and we carved out our advocacy plan, right? Which then we threw it back into the community. Parents in Leduc absolutely have that right. They did not wait for us, but they can start their advocacy and calling their MLA, and town council, should they wish to do so, bringing to their attention some of the need of the community, because they are the ratepayers there, and they do understand the need that is coming based on their population and the need of getting a high school in there. Same happened in Lacombe when we were advocating. Once we had a plan, we sent it into the community and then it went forth, right? And that is why I'm saying, let's refocus with the long range planning, have this plan, and then send it out, okay? Because parents in Wetaskiwin have been doing this alongside waiting to get those portables into the high school, right? So we do have a way or a process that we do know rests with long range planning. So that's what maybe next meeting should be discussed, so that in the new year we can move forward with this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Efron. And I think, again, that's really important that we have a good process. And I'll ask Charlie if he could share his thoughts on the committee conversation and what was agreed upon.
I guess just to Liz's or Trustee Sirois' earlier point, we did not have a committee meeting. So none of this was is actionable. I want to emphasize that. It was things that we are going to discuss at the next committee meeting. So I did agree to assist the committee should they require my assistance to help parents with ideas on what they could advocate for, but I don't think that can be action until the committee meets.
Okay, so I'll ask long range planning, the chair, if you can please, your next meeting, bring the plan for the board to approve on your items that were discussed today. That would be fine.
Okay,
Does that make sense? Again, it's really, we have to have a really good process as we move through, you know, important topics. And just something that we might want to look at when for committee reporting, is it an option, or how do committees want to do their reporting? Do they always want to do it verbally, or isn't there an option to put in a written report? And then it's, you know, everybody has time to think about it. We're a little bit more ahead of what's on the agenda for that committee, because some of the committees do have a lot of work that they're doing, and then we kind of have a heads up on the items that are out there that we need to be making, you know, having some thought around. So I'm just wondering is there a reference to that in policy about written reports for committee? Trustee Efron?
Madam Chair, we didn't establish that in policy, but we did encourage it. That was when the chair's report summary started coming out. We did encourage that if there is time between those meetings, that a summary could be attached into board meetings. Yeah, so there's always that there. So
okay, so
that should be a practice if we can start looking at to adopt again. That would be good. But it's a standard.
yeah, so maybe that's something that committee chairs can look at in policy. What we should be following with reporting to the board, if a written report is a better option, especially when you have a lot of items and you're looking for some feedback. Okay, did you have anything else, Trustee Sirois?
yes. The last thing was the Catholic Education Professional Learning Workshop that will be coming up in December that Dean Sarnecki will be putting on.
Okay, excellent, thank you. So that'll go on our,
And
go ahead.
I was just going to say, this concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and I guess that can go on our calendar. Or it's at the next board meeting, correct? The presentation. Okay, thank you. Okay, 5.7, policy. Did you have anything else, Trustee Svidich?
No, just we met on the 3rd. Henry, Charlie, myself, and Liz. We each assigned policies 1 through 9, which we had gone through, and we'll be reviewing the next 9 policies at our next meeting, and that one is slated for December 2nd, 5 p.m.
Okay, thank you. So I do have a consideration for policy 5.7. So, and this was out of the GRACE meeting, and Trustee Tugwood was there, and it was just a consideration regarding the 5 marks of a superintendent and the 5 marks of a teacher, if that should be considered as an appendix to one of our policies. So anyhow, I'll just put that out there for policy to consider. And Trustee Tugwood and myself, we will just touch on the GRACE regional meeting that was held just yesterday. And that did come up.
Do you want to repeat that, Madam Chair? The 5
Sure.
marks?
Yeah, so there are 2 documents out there right now, the 5 marks of a superintendent, of a Catholic superintendent, the 5 marks of a Catholic excellent teacher. And there is work being done by Holy Family on the 5 marks of a Catholic school trustee, which will be excellent. So, and that all comes out of the 5 marks of a Catholic school from the Growing Forward Symposium a few years ago. So anyhow, very good documents. And I think it would serve us well to recognize them in our policy and be able to reference them and consider, you know, where exactly they should go and be able to have them on hand and in the public eye.
Okay, we'll add that to our policy meeting. We'll discuss it for sure. Thanks for bringing that up.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 5.8, my Alberta School Boards Association reports. So sorry, I'm just, for some reason, it's really small. There it is. Okay, so the minutes were emailed November 4th. And congratulations to Trustee Tugwood. She's on the Edwin Parr committee, so I think she'll really enjoy that. It's a very a great committee to be on. And it just really helps develop your trusteeship being involved at the zone level. So thank you, Donna, for putting yourself forward there. I am continuing to be the alternate Zone 2-3 director, and I am attending a meeting in December, filling in for the zone director there. The next Zone 2-3 meeting is December 4th, and it's via Zoom. Just a couple of highlights from the last meeting. There will be a call out to school boards regarding additional supplies, or no, sorry, additional supplies are being provided to school boards at no extra cost. So I don't know if you've received notice of that, Charlie, but that was in the Alberta Education Report from Nathan at that meeting. And then there is ASBA will be calling out to all school boards regarding subs shortages, exactly what school divisions are experiencing. And that's for advocacy to government. Also, there is, at the next meeting, we will be discussing, there was a potential motion about suspending the curriculum, the new curriculum for 2021-22. But I did speak to Charlie about that already, and I believe from admin, you received feedback that everyone is just in favor of going forward. Is that correct, Charlie? That you did gather that feedback from admin. So we will take that forward, or I'll take that forward when that vote comes December 4th at the next meeting. And just to follow up on our June SGM, our fall SGM, and the special ASBA meeting. A year ago, we started the process of sending the motions that were passed at the ASBA meetings, sending them, those position statements, to our MLAs just to inform them of the positions that ASBA has taken. And we didn't get to do the spring or the June motions for whatever reason. Things were just so busy, and the COVID experience that everyone was having, I just didn't get the document from ASBA. So anyhow, I'm just asking the board if everyone is still in favor that we inform our MLAs of the position statements that have been passed for the last 3 ASBA provincial meetings. And it just informs them. It informs them about education. Minister LaGrange, she has encouraged us to be in touch with our MLAs to educate them about education. Some of them aren't familiar with some of the things that happen in education. So I'm just asking the board if everyone is still supportive that we go forward with that. Trustee Afon?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I believe that was the standard practice we adopted, 3 years ago. So let's move forward. Thank you.
Okay. So I'll work on that letter with Charlie and probably Caitlin. Okay, thank you. So, and also the Honoring Spirit Awards. They were delayed. They were given out virtually. And then any awards, like from our school division that had honorable mention, we were going to try to, as trustees in our communities, try to be available to hand out those awards at the school level. But I don't know, I'm asking Charlie what that looks like now, because it's just more difficult to be part of that, or what have schools gone forward?
So I believe that Executive Assistant Kim Beaupre has worked with local trustees and schools to present those awards, and I think those have all been arranged, if not happened already.
Okay. So I know for myself, I think it was St. Ben's had a student, but I wasn't contacted.
We can follow up on that.
Yeah, I'm just curious, but I think it's just for myself, it's just difficult to do anything in the schools, and the students, they deserve their awards now. So, okay, and I think that's everything. Did anybody have any questions or comments about the ASBA report? I would also just like to commend ASBA for managing the meetings in the last while. 3 virtual meetings. So they done very well. And the voting was very smooth. So Trustee Tugwood, did you have a comment?
I was just going to comment, I love the avatars and the Edmund Parr Award. That was done very well, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Somebody's very talented.
Yeah. Okay, so we can move on to 5.9. And Trustee Afon, did you have any follow-up on ACSTA?
ACSTA, yesterday was their meeting, right? That was the only follow-up I was invited to as already the alternate, and being familiar with some of the work there. But unfortunately, I couldn't attend the meeting based on other commitments prior to that invitation. So the meeting went on, and we will see the highlights as soon as it's ready. As well, we were all at the AGM. We did make a nomination from our division, which which won one of the awards. As says, I followed up on that as well. Because of so much and everything that is going on, they haven't been able to get the plaques ready. But what I will request is between Madam Chair and myself, we should have a plan to contact the recipient, the winner, and then congratulate her. However, in June, when we are having our award ceremony, then we can officially do all of that at a time. That's all I have for now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we are moving into in-camera items. 6.1. So I'll ask somebody to move us into in-camera, please.
If I will move us into in camera,
Okay, all in favor?